Bang, bang. Guess who's at the door? Not opportunity, not fate. It's them, the ones in shadows. Flashy smiles, slick words, secret handshakes and promises wrapped in silk. Join us, they whisper, like it's a gift. You laugh, loud, wild, unfiltered, because they don't get it. You were never waiting to be picked. You were building an empire from rubble. They saw mystery and thought you'd be hypnotized. But all you saw was a game you were born to break. This isn't just about a secret club. It's about every system that told you to shrink, every voice that tried to soften your roar. In this video, we're diving straight into that fire. The misfit. The leader. The grin that says, I'll run this. And the moment you turn their offer into your throne. Let's go. In this world, people are shuffled like pieces on a board, just tossed around by invisible hands, living lives that never even belonged to them in the first place. Wow, just imagine that. Breathing every day, thinking you're in control. When in reality, someone else is making the moves, pulling strings from behind velvet curtains. These secret societies, hidden networks, polished circles of elite power, whatever you want to call them, they look at people like pawns, just tools, replaceable, forgettable, disposable. Ugh, it's almost laughable, isn't it? They wear suits and smile like kings, but they fear real strength. And what do they offer you? Opportunity? No. It's a box. A tight, shiny, quiet box where your voice is softened and your light is dimmed. A box made of fear, not freedom. Because they don't pick you out of love or loyalty. Oh no, they pick people they think will nod their heads, sign the papers and follow. But then, you walked in. You with that grin that doesn't ask for approval. That walk that doesn't care for permission. They didn't see a pawn when they looked at you. They saw danger. Yes, danger. A spark. A wild card. A leader who laughs in the face of their rules. A force they can't predict, can't place, can't silence. And that, my friend, scared them more than anything. You don't move like the rest. You don't tiptoe into rooms hoping to be accepted. You stomp in like the floor was waiting for your footsteps. Like the world already knew you were coming. You don't ask, is this okay? You say, watch this, excitement. You move with fire, that bold kind of fire that makes people nervous. That kind of energy that can't be trained, can't be bottled, can't be controlled. Because you've made up your mind, and once your mind is made, nothing can bend you. You ask the questions they're too afraid to say out loud. You stare power in the face and say, is that all you've got? That kind of soul shakes buildings, that kind of voice flips systems. You, my friend, are the storm they prayed would never show up. And when they tried to recruit you, laugh slowly. It wasn't respect. It was fear. It was their last-ditch effort to cage the chaos they couldn't understand. They dangled their toys, titles, money, praise, thinking you'd bite. But kings, real kings, they don't chase comfort. They walk into chaos with open arms and say, let's dance so you know what you're worth. You don't beg to be seated at anyone's table because deep down you know you are the table. You're building your own palace, brick by brick, scar by scar, grin by grin. No blueprints, no permission. Just raw willpower and a fire that refuses to die. You don't speak like someone who waits to be heard. You speak like someone who has been quiet for too long and now refuses to be ignored. Every time you choose courage instead of comfort, risk instead of routine, strength instead of silence, you remind the world who you are. You are not something they can tuck away neatly in a corner. You don't need to be chosen. You chose yourself. That's real. That's royal. You walk like a king, not from ego, but from endurance. You earned this walk. You paid for it with pain. You shaped it with patience. You sharpened it with pressure. Now your voice slices through noise like a sword. Your story lights up the darkness like a flame. And your smile, oh, that smile. It's not just joy, it's your armor. So the next time the world tries to shrink you, box you in, make you feel small, laugh. Yes, laugh. Because you were never made to fit. You were made to stand out. You don't move like a pawn on their board. You walk like a king on your own battlefield. Head high, heart blazing, eyes wide and wild. Because deep down you know no secret society, no system, no power on earth can cage a soul that's already claimed its freedom. Ha! They really thought they could tempt you. Oh, they tried, with flashing lights, sweet talk, golden gifts tied up with glowing promises. Look what we can give you, they whispered. Money, fame, attention. The kind of things they think people crave, like air. They believed you were like the rest, eyes wide, heart shallow, ready to sign up for their version of power, if the price was wrapped in sparkle. Wow. They had no idea who they were dealing with. 'Cause you have already felt real power. And let me tell you something about real power. It doesn't wear glitter. It glows. It doesn't need a crowd to scream for it. It whispers when the world is silent. It pulls you out of bed on days when your soul feels heavy and your dreams feel distant. That kind of power isn't handed out, it's earned. It's built, brick by brick, scar by scar. You didn't build yours under spotlights. You built it in the shadows, in the silence, while no one clapped, no one noticed except you. They thought you were hungry for what they call power, but wow, they had it all wrong, because you've already tasted pain, chewed it, swallowed it, laughed through it. You felt failure, not once or twice, but again and again, and every time you stood back up stronger than before. That's real strength. You've been rejected, ignored, doubted, and somehow you turned every bruise into a reason to rise. They thought they could impress you with titles. You've got trophies made of trials. They thought you needed a crown. You wear your grin like one. And it shines brighter than gold. Because it says, I've been through storms and I didn't just survive, I became the storm. You've seen behind their curtains and wow, what a show. You saw the fake smiles, the empty applause, the deals dressed as dreams. But you didn't buy it. You didn't need it. Because you've got something more dangerous than approval. You've got clarity. You know the difference between real and fake. You've seen that their kind of power is paper thin, flashy on the outside, but weak inside. They offer you a seat, but it comes with a script. They offer you applause, but only if you stay quiet. They offer you a mask and expect you to wear it until you forget your real face. But you weren't made to wear masks. You weren't made to play roles. You were born to be real, loudly, boldly, proudly. You didn't stumble here by accident. You didn't fall into greatness. You climbed. You bled. You walked roads alone when everyone else took the shortcut. You faced silence, heartbreak, setbacks, and through all of it, you found the most powerful thing of all, yourself. And that, my friend, is the kind of power no one can touch. It can't be taken, can't be stolen, can't be traded. It lives in your decisions, in your energy, in your fire. And when they come to you and say, "We can give you power," you laugh. Because you already have it. You don't need their stage. You are the show. You don't need their spotlight. You shine in the dark. You don't need their approval, because you've already approved of yourself. That's why you walk away, not because you're scared, but because you're solid. You don't say no out of weakness. You say no out of strength. And when you leave, they feel it. The room shifts. The air changes. Because real power just passed by, and it didn't need a contract. It didn't need a crown. It only needed a grin. And that power, they don't come to you with chains. No, that would be way too obvious. Too easy to see, too loud to ignore. They come dressed in comfort, cloaked in calm, whispering fear through polished smiles and soft advice. Don't speak too loud, they say, as if your voice is a problem. Don't stand out too much, they warn, like your light is too bright. Don't dream too big, they smile, like ambition is dangerous. And here's the trick, wow, it's a clever one. They make fear sound like safety. They twist doubt into guidance. They turn limits into wisdom. And before you know it, you're second-guessing your fire. Chilling, isn't it? They don't lock your body in chains. They don't need to. Because if they can slip their fear into your thoughts, if they can plant just enough hesitation, your own mind becomes the jailer. You'll play small without them lifting a finger. You'll stay safe, stay quiet, stay hidden, and they'll call that success. They don't need to hold weapons, because they've mastered the art of doubt. And that's how they keep people caged. Not behind bars, but inside comfort zones. Not in prisons, but inside invisible walls made of fear. But you are the plot twist they never saw coming. You didn't run from the fear. You looked it straight in the eye and grinned. That grin, oh, that dangerous grin. It says, "I see you, fear, and I'm walking anyway." You knew the fear was real. You felt it. You carried it. But you never let it carry you. And that is untouchable power. Because you don't move to avoid falling. You move because standing still feels like suffocation. You don't step forward because you're fearless. You step forward because your purpose is louder than your fear. Every time they tried to whisper limitations into your soul, your heart answered with thunder. That purpose became your armor. That why became your sword. When nights got heavy, when nothing made sense, when everything in your chest told you to quit, you didn't. You stood. You breathed. You moved, not because you had to, but because you chose to. And in those moments, that silent fire inside you, it became unstoppable, because they lead with fear. They manipulate, twist, and play it like a game. But you lead with vision, with purpose, with passion. And that makes you untouchable, because fear can scream, but it can't last. Fear fades, but purpose grows. It roots itself deep and holds you steady when everything else wants to shake. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to care about something more than fear. And you do. You care about freedom, about being real, about building something raw, wild, and yours. Even if it means walking alone, especially if it means walking alone. So let them try. Let them try to tame your voice with rules. Let them try to slow your pace with doubt. Let them try to wrap their fear around your fire. Let them, because they'll never understand someone who walks through the fear with a grin. They'll never understand a heart that beats harder the more it's tested. You were never built to shrink, never built to bow. You were born to break the silence, to lead not with a title but with truth, not with control but with conviction. Because you, my friend, you are not ruled by fear. You rule with purpose. And that kind of leadership, that kind of power, that kind of soul that smiles into the storm, that is the kind of fire that never dies. If you've ever felt like the world tried to silence you, box you in, or control your fire, remember this: you were never meant to follow. You were born to lead, to rise, to rule your own chaos with a grin they'll never understand.